We're taking a look at the 2018 draft dashboard. This tool is all about organizing all of the information that you would need in your fantasy draft to make efficient and confident decisions while you are on the clock. What this tool does is it summarizes in an easily digestible format pretty much every data point that would be useful to you and that you would want to consider while you're drafting, and it puts them in a format that gives you the information that you really need first and lets you do a lot of customization. You can see there is a settings tab in the tool that gives you a lot of customization that you can do. Let's just pop into a mock draft that I had started earlier and catch ourselves up with the team that we are drafting for. So we're drafting for the Raiders. They had the 10th pick in the draft. You can see at this point, they have Russell Wilson at quarterback, Darius Geis, Kenyon Drake at running back, Keenan Allen, and Julio Jones are the team's wide receivers. At this point in the draft, only 4 quarterbacks have been taken, 25 running backs, 27 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. In terms of tiers, wide receivers have been taken completely in the first 3 tiers. There are still 3 tier 3 running backs hanging out, 1 tier 1 quarterback. At tight end, all tier 1 are gone. We have some panic picks we could fall back on in the event that we get caught off guard. We can add players to our watch list. So perhaps earlier on, we identified some targets that we weren't interested in. And as this draft develops, we can monitor if those players are available. Here's a quick breakdown of how teams have been constructed and the players they've drafted at this point in our draft. When our draft is done, there are some analytics we can do here. We can look at players that we could have drafted in different ways we could have put our team together. We have the ADP of available players listed here for the next 63 players that on average are drafted in the next 63 picks. We can workshop players that are going to be drafted in the next 10 picks, simulate who they might be, and also the breakdown across positions. This is stuff that there's extensive tutorials on that talk more about each of these features. Now, we are on the clock. Our weighted preferences are pointing to running back for a couple of reasons. For starters, it is actually less scarce than wide receiver at this point, but the tool is considering preferences that we set in the settings tab, and it's also looking at how teams around us are putting their squads together and what we have done in the past. So it's actually saying that if we look at running back at this point, we may be better off targeting one of those tier 3 running backs given the number of tier 4 wide receivers and players at other positions that there are. So what we could do now, we identify a player that we want to go after. We had Tevin Coleman in our watch list. Maybe we draft Tevin Coleman. You can see we now get a signal that he's taken. We can remove him from our draft list. You can see that all of the information is updating. So we're up in a couple of picks. We hit this mock draft button. We do that twice, and we are now back on the clock. So we have another decision to make. Interestingly enough, there's still those tier 2 running backs. I would say, though, at this point, I'm feeling good about the running backs that we have on our team. Let's take a look at the wide receiver position. You can see there's a couple of different things going on in here. And if we want, we can choose to load in very specific data points we want, or we could use some of the pre-included ones. Maybe we're looking to get a team that's young. Maybe we're looking to catch some upside. So we could see Devin Funchess, young wide receiver. Will Fuller, another young wide receiver. So we think about this decision. We look around. We've decided we want to go wide receiver. And let's take Devin Funchess. Now, this is where it's cool. We need the computer to mock. So we press Control M. It's going to make the next 10 selections in the draft. We could also do Control N, and that would advance us 5 picks. So this is a way to very efficiently mock draft, to organize all the information that you have within your draft. Look at how teams are constructing their rosters, monitor the quality of players, have panic picks that you can rely on, get a sense of which positions your team needs to target. Visually, you can have all of this information demonstrated, and you can seamlessly toggle back and forth between these different views. There's a lot of analytics you can do after the draft. There's a lot that you can do in the draft. And really, if you want to tailor this tool, you can pretty much get it to whatever you need. There's a lot of different settings that you can include, different configurations. You can mock draft against various types of teams by choosing some of the presets or updating the tendencies that the computer has. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Let's go ahead and make another selection. So let's say that we are going to be on the clock in about 9 picks. Hopefully I did my math correctly there. So we do Control N, we go through 5. This is all occurring in real time. Takes about 1.5 seconds, depending on the speed of your computer for each pick. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker. We're on the clock again. At this point, we might want to consider going with a running back or a wide receiver. If I'm looking at the names in this list, I think at this point, I'm probably more intrigued in adding the wide receiver on my team. It's a PPR league. I probably want to have a wide receiver in the flex. So let's say that we decide we want to chase that volume with Allen Hurns. Can start typing in Allen Hurns up here. Click his name, click draft, and you will see that Allen Hurns gets drafted down in here, and he's now on our team. So that's a real quick overview. There's so many things you can do. You can import your own data from other sources. You can have it flow into these custom metrics columns that you can fill out however you want. You can have your own tiers, your own ADP, and you can pull all of that information into this drafting interface. So check out at either RotoViz or ffdraftprep.com. More of the tutorials. There's more information. If you have any questions, shoot an email to rotovizexcel@gmail.com. And please consider purchasing these tools to help you have an awesome 2018 season. If you sign up to a RotoViz subscription, do so through one of my articles. That will help me out and will also get you access to, it's got to be a season-long subscription, but it will get you access to all of the awesome tools that I have built, all of the fantastic tools that are on RotoViz, and all of the articles. Alternatively, you can go to ffdraftprep.com, purchase this tool. You can purchase it as part of a package. There's different options. Again, thanks for checking this out. And if you have any questions, please shoot them to rotovizexcel@gmail.com.